Hi folks, welcome to your mwis Friday Planner in association with Ellis Brigham. Now there are some improvements in the weather pattern over the next week or so, with high pressure getting on the scene occasionally, but still some weather systems coming around from the Atlantic, not as broadly unsettled or stormy as we've seen, but still sometimes the winds severe gale force, and Saturday perhaps the windiest of the days in the short term. Temperature wise we'll still stay close to freezing point on the higher mountains, particularly in Scotland, so the existing snow cover is going to hang around. Not an easy one to show the freezing level in visual terms on these charts, as things will vary quite considerably from place to place. So we'll talk you through what's going on and paint the picture for the next few days. Saturday it looks like this. We have high pressure centred to the east of us, a low off to the west of Ireland, and a frontal system draped out to the west and the north. That generally not having too much to do with most of Britain. Some patchy light rain and some snow on the higher tops across the west and northwest of Scotland, mainly around southwestern facing coastal mountains, go into the far north across the Highlands, and generally it's dry and bright with some cloud breaks too around the Cairngorms. More southwestern parts of the West Highlands could just be struggling with areas of low cloud. Likewise, some low cloud banks coming on to some Irish Sea coastal hills. Some cloud breaks around though, some hazy sunshine to be found in the lee of some of those major hill groups. The main story of the day though is the wind. The isobars close together, and that introduces a gale across most high tops, quite a marked increase of wind speed with height, severe gales on the higher mountains in Scotland, some powerful gusts around some of the corries and locally to lower slopes. Overall, your temperatures are around freezing point on the higher mountains, a shade above or below in places. Areas to the north and northeast of the major hill groups may just be a few degrees higher. Into Sunday, and we've still got a trailing front draped to the north of Scotland, and that is a decaying feature, but it may just still have some patchy rain and some snow flurries around for some, mainly around western coastal mountains in Scotland. Again, around Skye perhaps this could be a bit more persistent, but small amounts overall. Now the airflow is just a little bit more south to southeasterly, so slightly drier air coming in from the continent, and this will help to break up the cloud a little bit more, but some western coastal areas may just hold on to those banks of low cloud. Some hazy sunshine around then, still a rather blustery picture at times. The wind speeds may just vary through the day and not as strong as on Saturday. Temperature wise it's all quite similar to Saturday, still hovering around freezing point on the higher mountains above around 800 metres or so. That freezing level may just shift up slightly as the day goes on. Now low pressure out toward the west will tend to push northwards towards Iceland into Monday. Quite a deep feature up there, and a front that's associated with that will then pass eastwards across Britain. Bit of uncertainty how quickly this thing is moving, but the idea of some rainfall for a while, and that may be persistent across England and Wales. A mix of rain and snow across the Scottish mountains in the morning will tend to break up and clear eastwards as the day is going on, then introducing some showery conditions in from the west, and a tendency for the freezing level to lower, so snow and eventually some hail falling to some lower elevations, especially by Monday evening time, when those showers might become rather heavy in the west. Really then a rather blustery day across many mountains once more, a gale for the higher tops for a spell. It may be that there's something of an easing of wind that just comes in from the west with time, but as those showers come back in, squally gusts will return to western Scotland. Now, high pressure is expected to expand in across England and Wales and Ireland as well on Tuesday. Still, a westerly flow is across Scotland, and that could still be rather windy. The risk of gales on some northernmost mountains, some showers still feeding in, perhaps something a bit more organised around that front just lying to the north. Drier and brighter the further east and south you go across the Highlands. Temperatures then a rather chilly feel, with mountains sub-zero above around 700 or 800 metres, so some snow and some hail in those showers once again. Touch of frost in some of the valleys and the glens if sheltered from the wind early in the day. Little in the way of wind though across the South Pennines and Wales. In the centre of the high could see a good day with some sunshine and well broken cloud. We've got to watch the exact positioning of that high into the middle of the week. It looks as though it just centres itself to the east of us, so fair weather looks to be in the picture at this stage, with some sunshine and broken cloud once again. The strongest of any wind typically around more western regions, where a few cloud banks could be stuck around the west coast of Scotland, but many places should see some good breaks. Lighter winds at the further east that you go. Temperatures again staying around freezing point across most of the higher mountains, and again the chance for some frost in the morning in many of the valleys. Then watching just how soon the next front over the Atlantic starts to make some inroads. It's a weather story that's slowing down a little bit compared to where we've been in recent times then, and that does create some uncertainty just how things will move once we go more than a few days ahead. And the idea into the middle of the week is that that frontal system associated with the low way up towards Iceland may just get in towards Ireland, and it might bring some rain as we head into Thursday to western parts of Britain, but likely to break up as that encounters fairly high pressure, the high just sort of recentering itself. Maybe by the time we get to the end of the week, that high is back over us again, and it's a generally fair story. So fairly optimistic at this stage for later in the week for some quiet weather conditions. Again, temperatures similar, maybe hovering around freezing point on the higher mountains. Just watching again for any further weather systems around the Atlantic, still trying to have a go at coming in just as we head to next weekend. Very uncertain, it must be said, at this distance, but just the risk of something bringing something a bit more unsettled towards western Scotland by this stage. Further south and east, more likely, still hanging on to higher pressure and fairer weather. That seems to be a continuing theme as we head further into March, that high pressure is near to us, focus maybe just east of us. The weather patterns then a little bit more blocked than what they have been, so reducing the effects of the Atlantic weather systems coming into us, but just occasionally those may still get into western parts. So that's going to be the ongoing story, I suspect. The main message is becoming quieter with settled weather, higher pressure, more often close to us. Stay up to date with all our local forecasts every day on the mwis website. That is your Friday planner in association with Ellis Brigham. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.